All right, here it is. And now, Ed Taylor, founder of the Santa Claus Conservatory, who recently led a 6-hour webinar that should be an Olympic sport. Let's see some virtual clapping here for Ed Taylor.
Thank you all. Wow, I feel that warm welcome all the way here from Southern Oregon. So yeah, you know, talking about that 6-hour webinar, that was, you know, I call it the Worldwide Santa Claus Summit, and it was I was just so happy with it. We had Santas from across the country sharing so many different things. In fact, we had a great session on kind of the topic we're talking about today. You know, talking about videos and video chats, setting up backdrops. One of the guys had a green screen that he shared about. I mean, so it was really awesome. You know, I was incredibly happy that that thing went the way it did. So happy we're doing another one here on the 14th of May, another 6-hour summit. And we actually even have we have the gig salad guy. By the way, this kind of goes along with what we're doing, but we have a woman from Gig Salad who's going to join us and talk about how Gig Salad is now promoting this year virtual events. So that's become part of what they're doing, and so I'm really happy to have her involved. She spoke on in our sessions before, but that's going to be a great one. And then we have a guy from the UK going to share a little bit of UK wisdom, so that's going to be fun. And I'm loving these backdrops here, Anthony. That is awesome, man. You're looking so good. You're at the North Pole, man. You're like right down the street from me somewhere. I'm in the workshop, and you're in the library. It looks like. I love that. And yeah, Bert, looking good, man. All these things look great. So let me give a bit of, well, let me just start this way. Let me just start with the question. How many of you, or let me ask it this way. You show me with your fingers, unless if you're muted, but how many Santa Clauses have you watched in action? I mean, doing their Santa thing up close and personal, where you can see their face, hear what they're saying, hear what the kid's saying back to them, or the adult if it's with an adult. Approximately how many have you seen like that? Yeah, it's pretty much like one or two or three. I mean, we've seen more dentists do their work than we have other Santa Clauses, right? I mean, for the most part, we don't see Santas doing their Santa thing. Now, let me just share a little bit with you when it comes to the video side. My first video that I did was back in 2007. And we put it up on YouTube, and it was actually a guy that I was in a Chamber of Commerce with asked me, "Hey Ed, would you do a video for my son?" And I said, of course. I say yes to everything. I'd never done one before, but I had a camcorder in a living room, so yeah, I'll do one. That'd be fun. And I did. It went up on YouTube. Today, that has over 2,000 views. The very first one that I've done. I have since done hundreds and hundreds of these things that have thousands and thousands of views. And the reason I bring this up is it's not like we're sitting there talking to this little guy in a Bass Pro Shop, right? And when we're talking to him for a few minutes, he walks away and they got a picture. Now, all of a sudden, that whole conversation, if we're doing video chats or pre-recorded videos, it is there forever, right? These things are up on YouTube, they're up on Facebook, they're wherever they're going to be from now on. It's kind of like your old favorite songs from high school, right? They're still playing them, we still hear. And that's the same thing with these videos. They're going to be around for a long, long, long time. And if you're anything like me, kind of my feeling about this is I want everything that I do to be as extraordinary as I can do it. I mean, I want to exceed the expectations, not only the people that I'm visiting with in that moment or making a video for in that moment, but I'm thinking also about down the road, right? When this kid gets, a girlfriend in high school, and mom and dad say, "Hey, look at little Eddie Jr. here, with his video with Santa Claus." I want to make sure when they look at that, it's pretty decent, right? I'm hoping that I responded to questions well. I'm hoping that I asked good questions. I'm hoping that my background looks decent. All of these things have this life that's well beyond the few minutes that we're talking talking with this person. Or, and again, I'm going to throw it in like we're talking to people in real life, in via video chat, but we may well just be making a little video for people. I do those every year and have for many, many years. And so, but it has the same thing. It has that longevity that's going to go on potentially for decades. So what do we do to make that extraordinary? And I'll tell you, in my particular case, the biggest eye opener, and I was naive, I started as Santa in 2003, a little volunteer thing. I volunteered as Santa for 7 years, just around town at fundraisers and parades and, just those kinds of things. So I didn't have any big city type of experience. I mean, my whole county is 200,000 people, it's like we're rural Southern Oregon. When I started doing bigger time things, when we started doing video chats with Hello Santa back in 2013, 2014, when I first started doing those things, I had the awareness at that point that there were Santa Claus organizations. And I thought, well, this company brought me in to help train and not even train really, mostly to recruit Santas and to be the spokesperson for the company. Well, the first thing that I did is I went to the Santa organizations at the time and said, hey, we have this opportunity where we can hire Santas to work from their home. Here's the process to audition. People would go and they'd do the audition from their webcam, much like we're doing right here. And we had this little process to put people through. Some of you may have done it. Anyway, these video auditions came in, and the founders of the company brought me into a room and said, Ed, these are pretty horrible. This is not good. What are you doing? Where are you getting these people? And I'm thinking, I had no idea. I just had no idea. I thought every Santa that was a member of a professional Santa organization must kind of just by definition be a great Santa. And not that they weren't. They probably were great Santas in a sporting goods store, in a mall, or in home visits. But when they get in front of a camera, so many of us get kind of tongue-tied. We put on a voice. I had an experience with my dad trying to record a video testimonial for a guy that we both had some respect for. And every time they put the camera on, my dad turned into this guy that I'd never seen before. I mean, his voice was different, his look was different, and it just was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I saw it right there in person, and I think a lot of us that happens with us when we do videos or the camera goes on, and I heard more pirate voices coming out of Santa than I ever do. Everybody, I don't know, they sounded like pirates, and I was like, oh my goodness. So the next thing we do, we started this. They asked me if I could help train the Santas. Well, I'd never had any acting training or anything like that. I have now, but at that time I hadn't. But the whole deal was they had a professional director on board the company, and they said everybody just has to take a breath and be natural. Just be their regular old self. They don't have to, they all look like Santa Claus. Just come on and be yourself, and the Santa is a non-issue. You are Santa. Just you don't need to do all the other. So that was the process that kind of brought me to this whole big time awareness of the importance, I think, of what we do. And I've been in trainings for many, many, many years now. I've saying it's the small things. The difference between being extraordinary. I define being extraordinary as exceeding the expectations of the people that we're serving. And if we can exceed those expectations just a little bit, doesn't have to be much, but if they say, hey, that guy looks a little bit better than I thought he was, he sounds more authentic than some, if we just do a little bit, then we exceed those expectations. That's what I'm shooting for in all cases. Even, when it comes to returning phone calls. I try to do it quicker than they expect. So anyway, and let me fast forward.
Yeah. Tell us about your great background.
Okay, so when we get to this point where we have this background that that Hello Santa bought, in mass for $20 a piece or something, but they just didn't look right. They didn't exceed anybody's expectations. So I found this woman up in Canada that was designing backdrops. I helped design this one that we have behind me, and at the time we were designing it, it's like I love the lantern in it, but it didn't light. And so when you're doing it was great for photos, but when you're doing videos, it looked like, it looked a little phony. It wasn't as authentic as I would have liked. And when one of our Santas, Bob Osterhout, said, he heard me mention that a few times, says, and he started working on creating a way to light the background. So let me just show you that real quick. So what we're looking at right here, of course, is just fabric. This is just a fabric backdrop created by Annette at Angel Kiss Design, who has since sold. But let me just show you the next part. So I have this set up. It's just against my wall. It's actually on a roller stand because I have multiple backdrops that are rolled up. But what I'm doing now is kind of revealing this. You're seeing that?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. And then I just have this little light that's a whatever they call those, the kind of lights that you used to work on cars with.
Right.
I have a little nail in the wall and I just have it hooked onto the back of the hood for the light. I put these towels. These are just little hand towels that you might have in your garage, or they're not exactly bathroom hand towels, but kind of the more shop type towels. And I put those over the top just to dim it down a bit.
Okay.
And that's the idea, because to me, once we had that, and I have it actually on a little dimmer switch, so I did that too, and I can.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, do you ever worry about fire? You covered that with towels.
It's an LED light.
Problem?
It's an LED or whatever that is. Are cool. Okay. They don't get hot or anything.
Okay.
And in fact, I created an entire list, and it's over at the Santa Claus Conservatory website, of every product that I have. So the backdrop, the hanging, the mount that hangs it. So I can roll 3 backdrops: a green screen, a black screen. I have a couple of these type of backdrops too, but usually a green screen, a black screen, and this type of a background. This is my favorite, so I use it most of the time. Are here, and I can change them at will. Then I also have a Rode mic. I got this for doing voiceover work, but it does a nice job. You don't need it, but I do have it. I like it because I have it. I use it, but it could be that your webcam has a nice enough mic that it works, with good enough quality that you're happy with it. The webcam that I use is a Logitech C920, which is a pretty decent webcam. And right now I'm probably a little brightly lit. I have a window over here that I put some screens on, but or that I would if I was going to do a real video for other than this. I don't want to say for real people, but you know what I mean. If I was doing something that I was trying to really make this look as good as I could make it, I would darken the window over here. And then I have 2 LED panels up on the sides or in front of me, lighting up the sides. Then I also have, and you'll see this real quick. So you see how the color of my skin right now, and then watch this and it'll change a little bit. See how I just got a lot warmer? And then the reason or how I did that is I have a monitor right beside me here, a second monitor that I've changed the background color to orange. And so that's one of the settings in there. And it's actually a very big monitor. It's actually a television. But I have it sitting over here with that background color. So if I want, and that's one of the biggest problems if you're using a webcam, is that you get reflection both in your glasses from the screen in front of you and some throwback of the white or whatever the color is in front of you, especially if you're using white. So that's how I do that. But that's essentially it. I mean, I think to me, it's really, really important that we, at least for me, it's important. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, I really want to try to, like I say, exceed those expectations. And I think having a background that that does that helps with that. And then also all the other things where you come across as authentic, and that's equally as or maybe probably more important. I've done a ton of video chats and things from out on the road. I mean, on Christmas Eve, I do video chats from front yards as I'm going in between home parties. So I schedule a whole bunch of video chats and say, I'll get a hold of you. But I don't know exactly when, but when I have some time. And then, from a home to my car, I'll get in somebody's front yard, and then I'll FaceTime them or Skype them, usually FaceTime, and just say, hey, I'm here, I'm delivering presents, but I wanted to say hi to you, and people get a kick out of that. So there can be a lot of different backgrounds. I know Mrs. Claus Maggie Knits uses a kitchen kind of a backdrop. So but whatever is right for you, and it certainly doesn't have to be a backdrop. It can be a real set. Courtney Lofton out in LA, there he has this beautiful workshop that's absolutely incredible, and he's doing videos from there, and that's awesome. I mean, if I had that, I'd do that in a heartbeat. So
right. Do you now when the New York City Santas called you a few weeks ago, you were showing us other screens that you use when you do an audition. Could you show us some of those?
Yes.
And it's okay.
Well, it's just this black. I mean, I can get up and roll it down, but yeah, I could do that. So
it's fun to see the bones of how this is done, because it looks.
We do have a couple of questions then.
We got some questions.
Well, I can't do it right now.
Question was, is the Rode mic an XLR or USB?
I'm sorry? I just had the backdrop fall off the wall.
The Rode mic.
The Rode mic? It's no big deal. That one that we moved, it just...
Is it XLR or USB?
USB. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everything USB. Cameras, mics, everything USB.
Sure. Hey, Ed,
and
go ahead. You can take
Jim
care of that, Ed.
Anthony added that it's called a drop light.
Yeah, drop light.
Did I get that right,
exactly
Anthony?
Right. Now, the thing that you have to be a little careful of with the drop light is that the light bulb, there's the light bulb that gives it the true flame kind of flicker is pretty big. And some of the drop lights don't hold it. It won't accommodate it. The hood won't accommodate it. So I put the links up on the page to the ones that we use, or that I use and Bob Osterhout uses. But the other thing is, and in the video that Bob did on the Santa Summit, he showed an actual lamp. So he moved to instead of having his backdrop against a wall, it's freestanding. In other words, there's a lot of space behind it, and it's mounted from the ceiling. And he took a lamp that was just the proper height and took that and made, it had one of those flex arms on it, and used that to light the lantern. So yeah, there's a lot of other ways, but if you're going to use one of the hood lights, make sure that the light bulb itself will fit in there.
Sure. And you were mentioning when we talked, we'll take questions in a few minutes, but we were, when we talked to you a few weeks ago, you were suggesting, and I think this is a really cool idea, if you could even do a virtual background of a video that has something slowly moving in some way.
Yeah, we just had, I've tested that a little bit, and I never had really great luck with the green screen. With my hair and beard, there's always been a little bit of a green tinge, and that's probably more of a technology and a lighting thing than anything else. I think that's resolvable. I've just never taken enough time, and now is probably the time to spend more time. But I've never really refined that to where I felt totally comfortable with it. But on the at the Worldwide Summit here a week ago, we had one of the guys on there that was using that, and his looked great. I mean, it was like, I can't even believe him. I mean, he had a fireplace going. It was snowing out the window. It's like, I am blown away by this. and it was all green screen. He just had a green screen. Found this video on YouTube that had the, you know, that was this cabin kind of a thing with the fireplace and the snowing outside that he just used. And you know, now, you know, I don't know copyright wise. I don't know if, you know, I would want to make sure I bought something that was licensed to me to use for that. I don't know what all he went through, but it was a very cool thing. The only challenge is he was he was a bald guy and he was shaved. And you know, and he wears a wig set. So I wasn't able to see it in action with what I would look like. In other words, you know, I don't know if he had it dialed in enough to work with the hair.
Yeah, and actually this is a really good segue. I'm seeing a couple of questions here on the chat box. Should people be wearing makeup or no makeup? This is somewhat related to presentation here. So, and glasses or no glasses?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
You know, I don't wear anything. I mean, I wear the glasses. These are the glasses I wear all day, every day. So I don't change anything. Well, that's not exactly true. These are my computer glasses that I wear these glasses all the other time when I'm not in front of the computer. They're virtually the same. So, you know, for me, I go with what I am. If I'm a glass wearer, I'm going to wear my glasses. And if I wasn't, I probably wouldn't, just because that's the way I do my Santa Claus thing. It's just a kind of an extension of me. As far as makeup, I don't personally wear any for the same reason. I just, you know, I kind of just do my thing my own way, meaning that how I am is the way I am, you know, and that's my Santa. Yeah. But I did have a woman on that took a Santa before and after, a makeup artist, and she made him up, and man, he looked so much better after. I mean, it almost sold me on the idea of being made up. Yeah. You know? I mean, she did a great job.
And we're finding this in the Zoom generation that people are actually, for work, they're actually putting on more stage makeup, because stage makeup and regular makeup are very different. We're also thinking theatrically.
You know, I would definitely look real closely at that. Again, you know, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, you know, I have t-shirt and shorts, Levi's guy, you know, and my Santa is just kind of evolved as part of who I am. And but then again, I mean, I say that, and if I thought that that I looked significantly better or something, I would probably up my game. I mean, I do spray my beard. I mean, I don't normally, but I did today for y'all. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
hey, George.
George.
So I'm going to bring in some more people here for questions. George has an excellent question about, is it okay to use? Actually, George, I'm going to let you ask that question about the smartphone.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, you muted yourself, George.
I'm okay. Now
okay, you're good.
Is it okay to use a smartphone as opposed to a digital camera?
Oh yeah.
Is the quality acceptable, or do you need to invest in a good camera?
Yeah, no, totally. Phones are fine. Phones are just fine. I mean, I do a fair amount of work in Hollywood, and I work with casting directors all the time, and they say even for that, which is I think is probably a step up quality wise, but even for that, they say, you know, phones are fine. So I would have no issue at all using a phone. The other thing is that you know, with what we're doing to Santa, and even if it's if we're using a green screen and there gets to be some flicker, some bandwidth issue or something like that, the beauty of this is we're at the North Pole. So it's like Northern Lights. We have a whole bunch of crazy stuff that happens up here, and you can kind of explain away. That's one of the most important things when you're video chatting. If there's a technical difficulty or an ambulance goes by, or the trash man comes, or the guy next door is using his weed blower, or you know, whatever, all that's okay. It's just North Pole stuff, you know. We just have to put a North Pole story to it, you know. The dog barks. It's like, a lot of people didn't even know Santa Claus has a dog. You know, of course I do. You know, but I don't really. But if I did, I would. You know, I mean, it would just, you know, you just incorporate it into whatever. It's all just happening at the North Pole. That's all.
Right. And so we have a question here from Anthony. Anthony, would you like to ask the question that you put in the chat box? Anthony Pacelli. from
Oh
Milford.
no, it was more of a joke question. It's like, oh, it's barking. Is it a barking seal?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I like that. No, that's a good point. Because you get to do whatever you want with it. I mean, we've had people with helicopter noises, in their background. I mean, one of the greatest things that I have had the opportunity to do was I watched thousands and thousands and thousands of videos that Santas did well with Hello Santa. So every video that Hello Santas did, which was thousands of them, I didn't watch every single one, but I watched a couple 3,000 of them. I mean, and so many crazy things happened. I even had personally, I had calls where people are going down the street in their minivan, passing Santa around on their phone to everybody in the car. I mean, I talked to, in fact, this is weird. I had a dad and a son in a bed talking to Santa, and it's like, they wound up buying the company the next year. The dad was the founder of Jib Jab. And the next year they bought Hello Santa.
Cool.
They loved the call and thought it was great. They got to do it. So you just don't know. And one of the things we have to be a little aware of as we're video chatting is the kid can take the phone, because mom goes, hey, talk to Santa for a minute. And next thing you know, they're running through their house, showing you the thing they just made at school, or they're, whatever it is. It's like, so you have to kind of be able to be aware that might happen, and
improv comes
roll
in.
with the punches.
Yeah.
That's where
So
improv
I have a
comes
question.
in.
So
Jim
I
asked
have a
something
question here
about a
from.
blue light.
Yeah, that's it. Jim Beidle. Jim Beidle, is it Beidle from Arlington? Can you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself, my friend.
There we go.
Free the voice. So Jim, can you tell us about this question that you had something about a statement about the blue light? Thank you, Gary, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. I grew it myself. Yeah, I was just noting that with the computer screen or screens, I have a laptop to my left and a monitor with all your lovely faces on it in front of me. And yes, the blue light from the LED screen does tend to wash things out a little bit. I've got two 85-watt soft boxes on me. If I turn them off and I'm just lit by the room's overhead light, you can really see the difference there.
Yeah.
And I changed the blue light on the background on the screen when Ed was talking about his orange background. I just changed that to a rose color, I think it is, to bring a little bit more blood look to my face.
Yeah. Now, you look good, but I think
Thank
that all this is just a little bit of fine tuning. That's what I found. I mean, like this orange screen thing. I think I only started doing that maybe last year or the year before. And because it never dawned on me. I always had reflection in my glasses, or as a little white or a little blue or something from the computer monitor when I'm doing the webcam ones. And it was like, it always bothered me, but then I didn't realize you could just change. And I just thought one day, I wonder if I could change that whole background color, if that would look better. Because I had a blue background, on my laptop. And I changed it to orange. It was like, yes.
And Jim, while I have you here, you do use stage makeup when you're doing this. You just wrote that in the chat box. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I'm actually using the Mayron kit that, and his name just fell out of my head.
Leon?
Leon's kit, yes, thank you.
Okay.
I know it started with an L.
We're all Santas here. We all know each other.
Yeah, I actually use the same stuff that Leon has in his kit. I started doing that with a photographer years ago with just regular makeup. And what I found is that using makeup, I have sort of splotchy complexion from years of being out in the sun at altitude. So the makeup evens it out under this lighting. If I move in closer without the makeup, people were actually complaining about that in their photographs. And it does show up in a larger view in video chat. So for performance, when I'm wearing the suit, or if I'm doing storytelling or whatever, anything other than this, yeah, I do put the makeup on.
That's good.
Okay.
I think that's the trick, is we just find out what works for us and what meets our needs. And, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
for many years, I had a very, very severely crossed right eye. I mean, I was Santa, but I mean, it was severely crossed. I mean, you know, just, you know, and I've since had surgery on it, and it's somewhat better, not 100% perfect. But I just figured out, like, okay, how can I kind of angle my head? I took thousands, tens of thousands of photos as Santa with a very, very severely crossed right eye. But I told my photographers, and then I could, you know, kind of position myself in a way where it didn't look as bad with my head turned slightly. And I think that that's the trick. We just find, you know, whatever our weaknesses are, or whatever things that we don't want to accentuate, and we find a way to minimize them, whether that be makeup or, you know, not smiling with our mouth open if we have teeth problems, you know, all those kinds of things we just work through.
Now, I see Bert Stenerl. Am I saying that right? My Santa friend from Toledo. You know how I love Ohioans. Can you tell me about what you just wrote about the software you use for the virtual background? Can you unmute yourself, my friend Bert?
Yes, I remember from the summit, the name of the software was OSB, and it is free. It's not for the faint of heart, though.
Yeah.
I started a little bit looking at it, and I thought I need to have a little more time to take care of this.
Yeah, that's what I found as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to open this up.
First,
Oh, Gary, yes, my love. Tell me.
yeah, two things. First,
Is that you, Gary?
of all, yeah, I got it. 1 second. I want to thank Tom Schilling for your prayers for New York. As long as we're following the rules, we're doing just fine. Thank you. But we appreciate the prayers.
We do.
As far
Thank
as
you.
who has the best backdrop,
Oh,
the best
yeah.
backdrop, it
Is
was
it
a
me?
tight vote. No.
I'm sorry, what was
Weren't
the,
even in the running.
I'm not.
We had a vote on who has the best backdrop.
That's
Ed
right.
and Scott were tied. Ed and Scott were tied. Honorary mention goes to Anthony, Stephen, and Bert.
Here you go, guys. Here's a candy cane.
Ed and Scott, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're the proud winners of nothing.
No, nothing, yes.
Virtual
Yeah.
prize.
Thank
I
you.
carry it home.
Cyclones cap.
Hey, can I'm gonna just open this up. Can we all just unmute ourselves for a moment and just be free to talk for just a few minutes before we get our picture? How is everybody out there? You know, and Ed, when we had our talk with Gary and George a few weeks ago, Ed had a wonderful idea that that speaking about virtual backgrounds could really open up our opportunities and open up opportunities that we never thought. So maybe COVID-19 could actually be presenting more opportunities for ourselves. Maybe we can go to auditions that we never thought we could go to. You're in Middle America, you don't have to go to Hollywood anymore. You can audition,
Oh, yeah,
and there's
totally.
all kinds of creative things that people are doing on Zoom and Skype and a number of things. And you know what? People, if you have something to say, just say it now. We're so glad you're here.
I recently signed up for Backstage,
Yeah.
and I've been getting a ton of virtualized, not rehearsal,
Auditions.
auditions. Thanks.
Yeah, not only that, they're shooting virtual deals. I mean, I just got an audition note, or not an audition notice, but an announcement of an audition an hour ago where they're doing the audition via a video submission, not a live call, but just submitting a video. And then if you book the part, you shoot it from your home, and then they do some editing. They give you some wardrobe tips, tell you what they want. This was actually for a birthday party that featuring social distancing as part of the birthday party. So there's a whole lot of creative people figuring out how they can do what they do as far as video productions, whether it be for commercials or for bigger productions that are using the systems that we have currently in place. Not only that, in Hollywood, what I've been reading is that these studios are very, very reluctant to reopen just for the liability concerns that they may have. So there, my thought is that there's a significant amount of opportunities for people that may have not even ever given thought to doing this kind of thing before. Because again, of course, if you're shooting virtually, I mean, you can be doing Hollywood productions from my home here in Oregon or from Ohio or any other place. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that are potentially available as we move forward.
Yeah. I know you're all burning to talk. Socialize. I know it. I know it. Free the mouth. Free it, everybody.
Ed, you were talking about Hello Santa. I don't know if you're very familiar with Talk to Santa. I just sent my audition off to them this morning.
Good. Yeah, no, I'm very familiar with them. Talked to them since they started. They started the year after Hello Santa. I've been, I've talked with them multiple times through all the years. We have a bunch of our members who are active Santas with them and have been for many years. And for the most part, I've heard nothing but good things. That they seem to be good to work for. The biggest challenge with all this is when we're used to making a certain amount of money, say in a retail outlet or doing our own home parties or whatever it might be, and then say, well, how do I do that? How do I replace that income if I'm doing this via videos? How much do I charge, and how do I market them if I'm doing it myself? And if I'm going through a Talk to Santa or some other party, like last year I worked with FanMeo, which is another one of the video chat type of things. So the economics get difficult, especially when you're dividing that up with some provider, whether it was Hello Santa back in the day or Talk to Santa. Your piece gets smaller. But that said, you don't have to do all the advertising, which would make your piece smaller too. But just from an economic standpoint, you have to kind of walk through, how that works.
Yeah.
Hey, I just see that my friend and neighbor, Lonnie Cooper, is on. Lonnie, free your voice. Let's talk for a minute. Because Lonnie, let me just tell you what's going on in New York City. Okay, Lonnie and I met a few weeks before any of this happened. I saw him with his wonderful, glorious beard, and I said, hey, are you a Santa? And he said he was, and it turns out he's not just any Santa, he's a Macy's Santa.
Wow.
So anyway, we've become friends during this period, and last week, not last week, but the week before, we were going out almost every night as Santa and Mrs. Claus during the 7 p.m. thank you to healthcare workers, and having a blast. Free yourself, Lonnie. Talk to us.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Yeah, it was great. It was great fun. It's hard to do every night.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah. Well, and we've also had some issues with weather. We were contemplating last night, and then it was rainy and yucky, and it's like, I don't really want to destroy it in the rain. But it was great. It's been real fun. It was funny because I probably saw about 12. I don't think I even told you this yet. I probably saw 12 different people playing Easter over Easter weekend, copying the ideas that she had on some other things we could do. But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into
No,
that.
but they should copy. Go ahead. People should copy that. We had a good idea.
And it's bringing joy to people. It was a lot of fun. I echo a lot of comments people are making. I really appreciate this and appreciate Ann for putting this together. There is no way in a million years that anybody can tell me if Macy's is going to be open next year. Nobody knows if Macy's is going to ever open up again. I mean, who knows what could happen? There's no way right now you could put that many people in that small space that we have. And that's just the people that work there. So I really appreciate these suggestions. I mean, I already got some great ideas for ways to, replace some of that income, hopefully we'll be able to do some smaller stuff, but I don't do I'll be honest with you, and we'll talk about this. I think I'm doing this in a couple of weeks, Ann, in May. We'll talk a little bit.
Yes, you are. May 3rd. Lonnie is going to be talking May 3rd. Meet me at Macy's. A lot of you have already signed up for that.
Yeah.
And that's Lonnie. This is the guy.
I'll give you a little some fun background stuff. But I'll be honest with you, I mean, it's not about the money at Macy's. It's really about the community of people and really about the world that it is. And because they don't pay great, I'll be honest with you. You make a hell of a lot more money selling shoes there than you can be in Santa Claus, let me tell you. But it's an environment and it's an atmosphere, and there's an imprimatur that comes from being there that's pretty awesome. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But yeah, we've had fun, and I really appreciate Anne jumping in and saying, well, she didn't really ask me to do it. She told me.
No, I didn't. I like to boss people around. And that's why I'm doing this. I was a little worried that I had a mental, that this is maybe I'd been a little alone, I live alone. Maybe I was alone a little too long, because I called him up one Monday and said, what are you doing tonight? And he said, nothing. And I said, get out your gear. And we ended up doing that. But I think that that's just one of many opportunities that will present themselves. We all have different environments, and we all have different ways that we can interact with people as Clauses during this time. And I think we can do many things. And this is a good segue, because Lonnie is talking to us on May 3rd. And a lot of you have already signed up for that. Wonderful. It's called Meet Me at Macy's. I do want to let you know that this Wednesday, I have something I'm extremely excited about. And it is Wednesday, April 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a woman who is the curator of decorative arts from the New York Historical Society, and she is going to be showing us the actual desk. Okay, are you ready for this? The actual desk that Clement Clark Moore wrote "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" on. So we want you all to come to that. Your brains will be so much bigger at the end of that talk. It's just 30 minutes of your day. And I would love to end with Jingle Bells, and we could all sing Jingle Bells together, and we can all have a group shot. But any other final burning questions out there, please, we have a few more minutes.
I want to give one suggestion, and I'm using an iPhone, and I have found in doing these Zoom video chats, a music stand works wonderfully to support my phone, because I can raise it or lower it depending on what I'm sitting at. I can use a clip to hold the cord that plugs in. And the first video chat I did, I had to hold it. And this makes it much, much easier. So I do steal my husband's music stand every time I do one of these Zoom meetings now.
Good idea. You know, talking about that, I also have a tripod, a desk tripod that I use for both my camera or my phone, and I also use it sometimes for my webcam, because I have a teleprompter. If you're going to be doing a long video, I use this thing called a smart prompter. Again, it's on that list that I mentioned before. But and then I put my webcam that I normally keep right here on my computer on the top of the laptop, but I attach it to the tripod with the prompter, the teleprompter deal, and then put my phone in there to actually, there's an app, a teleprompter app, and you can go through huge dialogues. It's a voice activated teleprompter, so it knows where you are in the dialogue. But it's a wonderful, wonderful thing if you're doing a long video.
I suggest to everyone, if you are using a smart camera, or even a smartphone, or even a camera, invest in an inexpensive lavalier mic.
Yeah,
it will improve your sound quality quite a bit, and I think it's even better than the microphone pickup in a camera. It just makes your sound real nice.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
My wife,
Actually,
Not expensive.
wait, my wife's girlfriend, there's so many nice people in this world. She made me this Santa mask. It's got Santa Clauses on it. There's so many nice people all over.
Yeah,
But anyway, God bless
great.
everybody.
Hey, so I made a mistake. Sometimes that happens. So my mistake is that, so I said May 3rd, Lonnie was talking to us. That's not true. The next one, so it's this Wednesday, we've got the Clement Clark Moore piece. On May 3rd, which is another Sunday like today, we're going to be doing getting ahead with headshots with George's acting coach, who's going to be joining us. And then after that, 2 weeks later, then we've got Lonnie. So I just wanted to be truthful there. We are recording this. I said the last time that I was going to record it, and I didn't because I pressed the wrong button. But this one will be available for us to listen to. Can we all sing Jingle Bells before we go and get a group shot? Can we all do that together?
Could I add in one thing? Could I add one? Sure. I'm using a laptop, and when we all speak, we love to make contact with the eyes of our audience. And the problem with the cameras and laptops, especially laptops, is we don't know where the camera is. And like on my laptop, I made a little label with an arrow that points right to my camera. And so I'm looking right at the camera and not down here. I'm looking at the camera. And I see that so many people that they love to look at the people, they love to look at themselves. But when you're doing a video, try to look at the camera. And if you need to back the camera off and zoom in a little bit, you'll get away from that fisheye look that we all have, like the hand gets bigger as it gets closer. So be aware of where.
I don't know what fisheye is. Hey, George, can I have you start Jingle Bells off?
Sure. Okay. On the count of
we know this song?
1, 2, 3, 4. Jingle bells,
jingle bells,
jingle all the way.
Oh, what
Fun it is to ride in a one-horse
sleigh.
Hey.
Jingle bells,
jingle bells,
Bells jingle all the way.
oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse sleigh.
I think those kids from Chino do that.
That's too hard to do all together.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. But hey, Anthony, you promised, are you still okay doing a group shot for us? Because guess what? I can't see everybody right now. Okay.
Okay, one more. Okay, we got a nice screenshot there.
Nice.
All right.
And I did that yesterday
everybody.
with our chapter. We had 22 up yesterday that were able to attend. So.
Nice.
That's awesome. And I think in dealing with families too, they're going to want to see the big shot with Santa when we're doing, if you're looking to do any kind of a Zoom meeting with a group of families. Well, everybody, I want to thank you so much for coming. This has been great. And
Thank you. It was awesome.
Thank you, Ann.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Ann,
Hey,
for putting this
guys.
together.
No, and I really have to especially thank you. I would like for the New York City people, can you hang around for just a few more seconds? We want to make sure we get all of your information. And we pay such high rents. And New York City, we're being very generous. We're talking about the tri-state area, Connecticut, New Jersey. We want you on board. And Ed Taylor, I just have to thank you again. Once again, this has been a wonderful talk. And I think you're such a leader in making Santa available to families everywhere on all kinds of screens.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Give it a round of applause.
Ed Taylor. Wonderful work, Ed. Yay. Yay. Ed Taylor. Yay. And to all of our winners and all of our participants. And so I'm going to see you next time. And Ed will give you a call. Thank you for this. This is great.
Thank you.
Bye, Carol.
Stay healthy.
Bye, and take care of yourself.
Take care.
Stay
Take care.
healthy. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Santa.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We're having the New
Merry
Yorkers stay
Christmas.
on. Stay on, New Yorkers, if you can. Merry Christmas. Goodbye. What a great background. David, hi. Is that you, David? I'm going to unmute you. Hi, David. You just joined us. I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Yeah, I finally got on in time to say goodbye to everybody. I had a lot
Yeah,
of
I'm really
trouble with the
glad.
password, but
This is hard. You know what? And I'm having a hard time right now with my with my setup this morning or this afternoon. Usually I see the gallery view and I'm just not, I do this every day now and I'm not seeing the gallery view and I could not get it back on. So, and I think that there's always going to be some trouble there when we get on with technology.
Oh, sure.
So I'm really glad you're here. Now where are you from, David?
I'm from Staten Island.
Great. And you're
Welcome.
part of my mailing list. Welcome. Welcome. Hey, George? George?
Yes.
Hey, now, since I can't do the gallery view, are you able to do a group shot? Can you do that for us?
Shot, yeah. So everyone
Great.
smile on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent.
Hey, thank you so much, everybody. Any other burning questions here, Lonnie? Anything else?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks. Nice to see everybody. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to see you.
Good to meet you, Lonnie.
It was great seeing everybody.
Nice to look at that beard.
Be healthy. Stay safe.
These face
Can't wait till we
masks on our
actually
beard.
in person.
David, your beard looks awesome too.
It's getting fuller.
George, you have to catch up.
David.
Yeah,
I am
George.
catching up. This is like 10 days. And actually, last year I had shaved for an opera about this same time. And then I had a full beard, like a nice long beard by Christmas. So it's okay. As long as I'm growing it by May 1st.